Happy Monday. It is, what is it, August 22 at Bitcoin Design Guide Jam session number 32. And as usual, we will chat about what's going on with the guide right now, what everyone's working on, what we want to do next, problems, all of this stuff. Thank you all for being here, and happy Monday, Garfield. Okay, so as usual, we will, Gene's messaging me here. We'll go over this roadmap here, which I will also post the link if you want to dig around and don't have that link anywhere. But before we hop into that, is there anything else you would love to chat about?
No, I feel like we probably have enough to talk about.
Yeah.
If we just go through this, what we got open, the PRs and stuff.
As I messaged earlier about this call, it seems like everyone just wants feedback and on their PRs right now. And if we look at the PRs, we have one with 104 comments, one with 88, and then some other lame ones that are clearly not that interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to, I think there's several of them, maybe 3 of them that we should be able to wrap up very quickly, right? Anyone wants to go first and talk about their stuff?
I'll go over mine first. Mine's probably a bit smaller because this is we went through the kind of second round of revision. I actually haven't looked at the comments that you left just before, Christoph. Is there anything pressing there, or was it just kind of small things?
Couple of things. One of them was, if I remember correctly, is this the page I was looking at? The requesting page, right?
Yeah, requesting PR, yeah. God, I'm just going through it.
Just reviewing all the PRs earlier. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was
all right, the first one about the spacing and avoiding BTC. I added the spacing, but I prefer the BTC. I don't really like the Unicode icon Bitcoin. Like, I've never seen an app use it either. Not that that's a reason not to use it, but I just kind of left with going just with BTC. That seems to be pretty widely used in every Bitcoin app. But yeah, I should have left a comment there. Sorry, but yeah, I did add the spacing to.
I mean, then you would also have to use EUR instead of the euro symbol.
Oh, I don't think you have to. I think it's just common that it's already used BTC throughout, like apps, and I think the Unicode's probably even more foreign than having that kind of inconsistency. But,
okay, I think I don't know. My hunch.
I don't know what
is that one out for a vote. What does everyone else think? And let me try to pick that one up. Okay, I'm not looking at the preview here. That's why I'm.
So that was regarding using just like BTC as the like at the end of a Bitcoin amount,
yeah,
not a Sats amount.
So like here it says BTC, and the difference would be here in sending. Like the actual Bitcoin symbol, I don't think it is in here anywhere. But you know what it looks like. It's like the logo, just not at an angle without an orange circle. So yeah, like here, this thing.
And also with using the symbol, like I kind of feel like in the future, anyways, when the price is a lot higher, like the Bitcoin symbol will probably just be used for Sats, anyways. Like I think having, like which BTC could also be used for both technically, I guess, but BTC just seems to be the most commonly used for like a Bitcoin input amount that isn't being entered in Sats. So
okay, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. What does everyone else think?
So you're trying to figure out whether it should say BTC, the acronym, BTC, the abbreviation, or the actual Unicode Bitcoin symbol.
Yeah.
It's a tough call because it's like, I feel like every day, I'm going to use a $ or a euro sign or something like that. So why not just use this currency sign as well? Like on the one hand, it seems like it would make more sense to have it be consistent. Just do we use a currency symbol or do we not use a currency symbol? But I mean, at the same time, if we're going to say SATS for Sats, it also kind of conceptually makes sense to say BTC.
Because there isn't a symbol for it.
Yeah, or at least not one that people widely agree on. So,
Yeah, if there was just one like input that was just Bitcoin and you entered Sats, I would use the Unicode because like what Stephen said, considering there's two, like if we change it to the Unicode based on that logic, like it's wouldn't you change Sats as well because they're both Bitcoin, just kind of laid out in different ways.
Well, you do move the decimal for Sats, so that would be a bit confusing. You'd look quite happy with the amount of Bitcoin you had all of a sudden.
Yeah. That's why like I wouldn't do that. It's like it'd be confusing, I think.
I just had a look at a bunch of wallets, and a lot of them do use Unicode for like sort of dollar amounts, and then Sats and Bitcoin for the various Sats and Bitcoin amounts. So it does I think it makes sense, but
yeah. Okay, let's just take that one on. Let's get some more opinions on it, and then just leave it out of our hands.
I'll check it out to the community. I'll open up a question.
Yeah, the other thing there was here with a big thing was metadata. This seems like the wrong image here. This seems like it should be
that is,
this
sorry,
image
I'll change
here.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did make that mistake there.
So that was
cool,
one.
I'll fix that.
And then another one was down here. There's talk about a whole settings page just for invoice expiration. And in this request details page, it already says this request will expire in 23 hours, 40 minutes, whatever. Why not make that clickable and then just change it there instead of having a whole dedicated page just for changing this value, basically. So it's
I just feel like it's a bit more one of those advanced kind of things that probably should be changed more for. Like, I feel like changing it there, like a user who's not that experienced might change it and not know what they're doing. But yeah, that's a good point. Like, you could just take it.
If we had more advanced settings, I could kind of see that. But if it's just like a whole screen just for that, seems.
It doesn't. Having the expiration there for the unified QR code doesn't really make much sense either, because the swap address doesn't expire. So it's like it is a little bit confusing also at that point, but I haven't really thought of a way to address that. But that's an issue with unified QR codes.
Yeah. Another small thing was here when you say, well, I just want to share an on-chain address, you can say it's going to cost a fee because this is always a swap address.
Well, it doesn't always cost a fee. It's up to the business, but it will be there'll be because the sender will pay for the fee for the send, but the swap fee is purely based on if the service provider wants to charge it or not. That's why I just left it out, because I feel like that's more of a business logic. So I was like, I'll just leave that out, and the companies who build stuff can decide if they want to charge a fee there. Good
point. Yeah, I don't know. There was some really minor stuff like that. And then it's so obnoxious, this unit stuff. It should be consistent everywhere. Everywhere else basically uses now, first the number, then a space, then the Unicode symbol. So just forget. But I wrote in the comment too, after we're done with all of the content, we can revise all the screenshots when we work on the prototype and make sure all that stuff's consistent. Let's not keep these things from holding up these PRs. I had a comment on here, name for the sender, which we talked about it. You commented on it. Name for the sender. This is actually your name that you're typing in there. But name for the sender sounds like, well, I'm entering the name of the person I'm sending it to. So I suggested a change of text there. I think that was those were the big things, yeah.
Yeah, I'll change that to your name. Just let me get that preview up quickly.
Yeah, and that's I think this little X here works better than the big orange red outline to indicate like this whole screen is wrong. Stephen, did you have, or Mo or Pete, did you have any other thoughts on this screen?
On this PR or this screen
This
specifically?
PR, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I left a review before, Bosch. It looks like you went through and updated a bunch of things. The one thing I was still a little confused about. So if I'm on this payment request screen, so I'm here, and then you got the request details. How exactly do I get from here over to here?
In that, so today I updated, see I added the little menu icon on the far left image in the top right. So you'd click that, that'd be a menu.
Got it. So this thing up here. Okay. That's
Originally, me and Christoph were going to have it. You click on the fee and the amount bit under the QR code, but it just wasn't as clear. I think just having a menu at the top right was there. But yeah, you click that and it would open up the menu, and that's all your metadata and fees and stuff like that.
I mean, for smoothness, I think it would be cool if you could also just swipe up anywhere on the screen and settings come up. You just tap it in, but that might be a little bit. It has to. You can have these gestures, but there also needs to be an obvious element. Because, for example, if you have accessibility needs, you can't swipe, or you don't even know that these things exist.
Okay, makes sense. I go on the home screen. I type my amount. Boop, boop, boop. And then it just gives me this nice unified QR code, and people who are real savvy about this can swipe between the different variations, the on-chain Lightning invoice, but for most people, it'll just default to a unified one. If I really want to get into the details, I can press my little button up there, or maybe swipe up, and then that would take me to here. Then I can type in all this stuff here. So yeah, okay, as usual. I'll give another review today.
I had some minor comment too. Is requesting 0 sat sounds weird. It's like, why am I sending someone an invoice over nothing? Like, what do I do with that? So you could either, but the point of it is that, well, the sender enters the amount, right? That's what we want to communicate. Like, you don't send the amount, but the person who makes the payment. So it could either say something like sender payer enters amount, or just, click here to add an amount, or tap to add amount or something. But requesting 0 sats seems very definitive. And it's like, I'll send you the invoice and you pay me 0 sats. And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll add that.
Yeah, and then next to share Lightning invoice and share on-chain address, we could have a little info circle thing to pull up information for people who don't know what that means, that want to know it right in the spot.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I'll get to that first thing in the morning. I'll do the receiving PR. It's a pretty small page. I'll do that as well as soon as this is merged, but that shouldn't be a big lift and get that merged this week. It'll be a sub page of this requesting page when that happens. So
awesome.
I was just wondering, is there a final screen with their requesting Bitcoin to show your final request?
What do you mean by final?
Is there like a final screen state showing the amount you're requesting and then the total amount that will, like the final transaction request confirmation that will actually go to a user? Go to the person you're sending it to?
I'm not sure what you mean.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Is that like?
I know that you mentioned fees over here, but it's like one of the main questions that I got when doing the research was, I want to see the final amount. Like we mentioned fees, but they want to see the final amount.
Okay, I get you. Yeah, so it's hard with Lightning because the fees can vary, which is so it is hard to get it. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when you like request a payment, it will show you like you're requesting $10. There's a $1 fee. You're going to receive $9. So it just indicates like how much exactly you're going to receive when you request an amount. But it's a bit hard with these kinds of things because like I guess they're not super fixed. Like you could request a certain amount and someone can send you more, less. But it's a good point. Like it's something I haven't really gave a lot of thought to.
Yes.
I mean, an option would always be, even if you're not expecting that there any fee to be charged, you could always still have this fee entry here, and it just says fees will be paid by the sender. So instead of having the absence of information, clearly stating like you can always see what info about the fees. It's always there, even if it tells you that you should not expect any fees. That would be an alternative approach.
Yeah, is that always the case, or does that vary per wallet?
Well, I mean, it depends how the payment is being made. So if they make a Lightning payment, and then how the routing happens, if it's more complex routing, it will be more expensive, but then they pay it. But if there's some swap thing happening under the hood, either because they send to a swap address or because you need extra liquidity, then there might be fees coming into play.
I got an issue open as well for like having the sender pay the fees. So like, which would be more of an estimate with Lightning, but you could have like a toggle in that settings that says add the fees to the request. So you have your request amount and then you add the fees to that, which essentially is just charging the sender to pay for the fees. Yeah. I've seen some like traditional banks doing that, but it would vary a little bit because, yeah, like Christoph said, it depends on the routing and stuff like that.
It's always an estimate. Yeah, I mean, in Bitcoin Core, it's called subtract fee from amount. There's a toggle or a checkbox for it. Okay, cool. All good with that one?
Do you want me to add that actually to this page? I do have an issue open for it. I guess I could just, like if I'm going to edit these fee pages, I could just add that. Or do you think that metadata settings page is getting a little bit busy?
How do you even figure that out? And the thing with fees too is if there's a fee for you because you need more liquidity, then it's still not going to get charged to them.
Like in a very simple.
Or is it?
Well, yeah, you'd be making the sender pay for your channel open, I guess. So like.
Yeah, true.
In a very like maybe simplistic sense, it's like you are requesting 10 sats, you will receive 9. It's just, really basic because the fees come out of it. So that's kind of, I think what users might want to see. Because now you're forcing the user to think by saying you're requesting 100 sats, the fee is 10 sats. So they have to do the calculation in their own mind. And one of the things is, don't force the user to think. Just let them be super relaxed as they,
but this is more on the sending side. This is not for requesting, right? The requester requester has no control over how the other person ends up sending. They can say, here's the amount I'd like. Here are 2 payment options, one on-chain, one Lightning. Please, you figure out how you're going to pay me with these options I provided. And then the other person has to say, well, my situation is this. I'm going to go for this route with this amount of fees.
Well, this setup fee over here of 2,000 sats, a setup fee of 2,000 sats is applied to this request.
If you're transacting for the first time, because you need inbound liquidity.
Oh, okay. It's not every time. Okay.
I guess it can be sometimes. If you're requesting a huge amount, you don't have enough liquidity, I guess, then maybe. I don't know. Brain twist.
But yeah, makes sense.
Cool. I'll get that done first thing in the morning, and be good to get that merged tomorrow if we can, and we can get to wrapping up this stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next one, Stephen. Do you want to go over?
Yeah, sure.
Backup.
Yeah. Let's see. Last I looked at this thing, I'd done a bunch of updates to it and was looking for more reviews. So let's see. Looks like in that time, I guess you've put another review, Christoph?
I reviewed this morning, yeah.
This morning? Okay. Cool. Super nitpicky, tiny stuff. Okay. I'll go through and take a look at that then.
Yeah, it does like really fundamental stuff, like the verb backup being actually 2 words and not 1 word.
Yeah, depends on the context.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at that. Yeah, no, of course. I agree.
Yeah, no, there
That's-
was nothing really. I mean, it all looks good.
There, one knocked out. Cool. I'll go take a look at that, and then we can get that taken care of. And then I just need one more review on top of that.
Cool to resolve that iOS one. I agree with Christoph. It's fine. I don't think it's something huge that we should hold this up for.
What iOS one?
The autocomplete.
The autocomplete. Sorry, let's see.
Oh, I
So,
see.
yeah.
Comment discussion was still open.
Oh, the you don't like the color I chose?
I was just curious where that came from. If it's from the.
It came from a browser. I was just trying to imitate what I see in browsers usually.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was my whole thing, is just trying to make it look as similar to
Which browser?
like a typical like browser autocomplete, and just thinking that if it, where is it? It's on this page. No, it's on this page. Whew, this is a long PR. Yeah, I just chose it because it's like, I mean, I don't know, but most of the web browsers I use, it always uses a blue color for the autocomplete. And so I just figured that, like, if the user's used to that design pattern in, Safari on their phone, they start typing in the Safari bar, it autocompletes with a little blue highlight, and then the next button turns blue. So I was like, okay, so that'll look familiar to them, and it won't require any explanation.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think blue makes sense. I was just wondering if you use the UIKit blue or picked a totally new blue.
I probably just eyeballed it and picked a random blue. So I mean, I can go check and see if it's the UIKit blue.
But yeah, I think when we get to the prototype, we have to. And if we want that to be a nice, consistent, component-based thing, super standardized, then we'll have to go through that anyways. Yeah, okay. What else?
Just scan through and see if there's anything not clear to me. Yeah, grammar stuff. Okay, I can update the keypad. No big deal.
I feel like most of the stuff that I found through my first review, I read over it pretty thoroughly. I think Christoph's stuff, I'll do one more quick read in the morning, and that should be good.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. Modal on the screen.
There's a point about, I think you commented on the stuff about the encrypting with the recovery phrase.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you merged that in or not yet, but I know you asked about it.
Should be merged in. I'm trying to figure out where.
Because it's not any friction for the user, and it does give them a little bit more peace of mind. If they manually back up, they may as well use that manual backup to also encrypt their channel data.
It's probably on manual. Yeah.
Somewhere in manual.
I put it there.
Yeah, cool. Would be, I guess, if they did that delete your recovery phrase and then it didn't exist on the phone, I guess you wouldn't be able to do that anymore. But I guess you could just derive your recovery phrase still, because you still have your private keys locally. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
Can you do that in reverse? I'm not sure.
No.
Okay, yeah.
No, you could. You don't encrypt with the recovery phrase. Encrypt with the private key. Use the recovery phrase to generate the private key. Then use the private key to encrypt the channel state data. So even if you delete the recovery phrase from the phone, the software is just using the private key. So I don't think that would be an issue.
Yeah, that makes some sense.
Somebody who knows far more cryptography is going to watch this later on Bitcoin TV and be like, well, actually, but I welcome that feedback.
I did change all the mentions of just private key to recovery phrase. I think I think you accepted the changes, but even though like in some contexts it was more correct to say private key, I just feel like for our audience, just saying recovery phrase just makes it clear.
No, it depends if that's what's actually meant, right? If you in that context you mean it's going to be encrypted with a recovery private key, but and then using recovery phrase might be misleading.
Well, they're more like general statements like, oh, you need your recovery phrase
Yeah.
to recover your wallet, which technically you could recover your wallet with a private key by itself, if, like an X-proof if you really wanted to. But I was like, yeah, it's no point mentioning that. Like,
But
just say
Stephen,
recovery phrase.
it made me think maybe you should do a reaction reading by cryptographers of the design guide sometime, where somebody reads it out loud and you just show their faces reacting to.
Oh yeah, it'll be
what
like
they
one of
hear.
those YouTube reaction videos.
Exactly.
That is called content testing. That is another form of usability testing. Content testing. Yep. Watch their reactions.
Go send it to Greg Maxwell on Reddit and just watch him rip it apart.
And then file some PRs to make it better.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. All good with that one?
I'm
Yeah,
good.
I don't think I'm going to pick up much else like when I look over it tomorrow, so should be good.
Okay, then privacy page. I think it's waiting for more reviews. Yeah, I feel so about this one, because I think the privacy stuff is just really, it can be really complex, and because there's an insane amount of privacy stuff that really the application and developers need to take care of for the user. And then in this daily spending wallets, what the user actually needs to be aware of is fairly limited. And that's why there's now this new wallet privacy page and how it works that just generally talks about the categories of things to look into. And then the privacy page in the daily spending wallet is really just about hiding your balance. That's pretty much it. Because address reuse is not a thing here. We don't have any Lightning address or other identifiers you could potentially share somewhere. It's and I believe this is a leaf node to an LSP. So if it's just using private channels or unannounced channels, then I don't know. It's really about the wallet service provider and the application developers to manage most of the privacy stuff, right? Or what was your
What was the reason for moving the Tor to the how it works from the reference design?
Because all of the whole network setting stuff basically went in here. The thing with Tor was that it was just, from all I've heard, is that it's just really slow.
Yeah, we had a
to do
conversation
that.
about this on an earlier jam session.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I think the way the conversations went, we were trying to come up with like, should Tor be the default for the daily spending wallet? And then I started relating stories about, trying to use wallet server Tor in El Salvador, and just how, and how even in the US, it can just be, depending on your internet connection, or if you haven't opened the wallet in a while, just reestablishing that Tor thing is real slow. And so I think we kind of decided that Tor would be a good option to allow the user to enable if they want it, but not make it the default, because it makes the wallet, difficult to use. That's what I remember.
Would it not make sense to like maybe just have it in like an advanced section at the bottom, like we have in other pages? Because like I understand that it's slow, but like there's definitely people who will use it, and I know there is, when using LSPs, there is like a big benefit because you can be a Tor Lightning node, and it's probably one of the best ways to prevent the LSP from knowing who you are. Otherwise, they know exactly your IP and everything.
So that's where this PR that I put up today comes in, the settings page. So this takes all of the settings screens. And here there is a section called network where you can adjust, Bitcoin node. You can see your Lightning node ID. You can set up a watchtower for it. It's just, you can configure some of the network stuff. And I'm explaining here, for some people, it's personal preference, but for some people, it might also be a matter of security. And it makes the wallet more versatile if it implements these standards-based certain connections with these services, and people can choose to change them, right? It opens it up for more people, whatever their background may be. So as of today, we have this page. So in privacy, we could link to that people who want a bit more control, these things, there is a privacy tab for them to access that.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I realized when I laid out this page that most of the settings that you come across is you encounter them somewhere in your user experience in like these indirect ways. And then, the settings section really just summarizes all of that stuff. It's like a control center. It's like you go through wallet backup in first use, and oftentimes you never have to touch it. But then if you have to, you know where to go. It's in settings.
Something we should open issue for, probably not addressing this PR, but it could do, like, it's not really a thing yet, but using like the trampoline payments, like you could go, we should explore like what it would look like if you were to use trampoline payments or not. Like if you didn't, you'd have to sync the graph yourself locally, which you might not have a device that can do that. But if you outsource it, that will probably cost you fees, but it can also give you some privacy benefits, not from the trampoline node, but from other people.
Okay, so what's a trampoline? I remember looking into this.
So they just calculate the graph or the payment
Yeah.
path for you on your behalf, and
Okay.
generally, like I think Phoenix is the only wallet that does it at the moment. But it'll be something that you'd probably charge that trampoline node for. They'll charge you. Sorry, you'll give them a few sats, and they'll calculate the path for you, or the best path for you.
Yeah. So I was going to say, the idea of it is that it's easier to get to the center of the graph than it is to get to the edge. So if you're at the edge, for you to maintain the entire graph is quite difficult to do a whole route. So what you could do instead is maintain enough of the Lightning graph to get to the center to a known trampoline route, and then you pay the trampoline route to go the rest of it. So it's trampoline because your payment goes like boing and then on to its final destination. So it's good for privacy because you can create an onion that gets to a trampoline. That trampoline doesn't necessarily know if it's paying to another trampoline and another trampoline before it gets to the destination, or whether it's the end point that it's paying. So it does obscure the payments as they go through.
Yeah, I just linked to the blog post that Phoenix kind of talks about them using them.
I was just I'm not sure if this is linked, but when a user sees their recovery phrase, what is in place there in terms of privacy? Because let's say if they see it in a cafe for the first time, I know
Stephen has on the new backup page. Stephen has an intro screen before you see so you say like, okay, now we're going to look at your recovery phrase. Make sure you're in a secure place. Make sure you can write it down in a way, all of this stuff. So it doesn't just, accidentally just flash your screen. There's kind of a screen that prepares users for that experience. So it should be okay.
So they can hide it as well.
Well, they're not going to. I mean, what do you mean? If somebody in a cafe and they set up the wallet for the very first time.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have to even look at it. They can just do auto cloud backup and don't even have to do. Doing manual backup is their own choice, and there's a warning for it. They don't even have to do that. They can do it at some later stage too. They can skip it. That's during the first use experience, not Stephen's backup. You're talking about the first use.
Yeah.
Which it's completely optional. But yeah, we have warnings or just like heads up before anything is shown on the screen.
Cool. That's a comment I really had. Like, yeah, like I agree. A lot of the privacy stuff kind of happens behind the scenes. Like, yeah, it's like they're the only two kind of opt-in user kind of facing parts. Like, yeah, trampoline and Tor.
Okay, cool. Then while we're on the settings screen, we can just go over that one real quick. It's I've had this in the UI kit for a long time. So I just exported them, put them in here. So you have a general section, which is like, what's your language, local currency, notifications. Then there's one for fees, which is, like we talked about, fees can be confusing. They only, like when you send or receive, it sometimes tells you, hey, this is what the fee is going to be. But there's no place where it tells you, here are all the fees that you can possibly charge and why they might come up and what they will be. So that explains this here. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of input on the details of this one. Then the privacy stuff, which we just talked about, which is really just the hiding sensitive data. Then security, which it's just a reflection of the stuff we have elsewhere. Except for enable wallet limits, that is an optional thing here. The wallet could theoretically at some point send a security reminder like, hey, you have a lot of money in here. Maybe you want to enable limits. And it just throttles what this front-end application will sign on its own. Wallet backup, also just a reflection of first use and the backup section. Let me know. I think backup transactions might not make sense in here. I added a small thing in here, last backup 2 days ago. So it's kind of it makes you feel more confident that the backup's actually working. And network, as we just talked about. And then help and support was really just saying that, make sure to give people various options to help themselves and contact your support community. And yeah, that's just kind of that script page. I think it's somewhat miscellaneous, but it is still helpful for the whole section. So I don't know. Take a look. Let me know what you think. And feedback is appreciated.
Cool. I'll review it today.
Thank you.
I'm just going over it now very briefly, but the one with the security, like the delete wallet being right in the middle, I feel like that should be like kind of like down the bottom. It's like a danger zone kind of thing. It's weird to have it like right in the center. It's like usually that's kind of a bit of a hidden action. But yeah, I'll also go over that tomorrow.
That makes sense. And yeah, and then there's with the privacy stuff. Yeah, please take a look. And yeah, I feel like it's so complex, but you're going to get so quickly into all the technical stuff that we could have, after this page is done, we could either have like another year of conversation about this page, or we get it done and then we have another 500 PRs about this page for every single privacy topic that exists.
I'd really like to have just a real general privacy page and how it works. It kind of maybe doesn't get into technicals, but kind of talks about, you could have like a section on like rendezvous routing, like in just real simple terms, and then just reference that in the reference designs.
Yeah, I mean, the question is too, does a designer really is this the right resource for like all of the different technical explanations for all of the stuff? Or can we really just have like a list of references, like, here are the things that exist. If you want to read about them, go here.
Yeah, I don't think you have to go and write the real technical detail, but I think it's important that they know it exists. Like say, like rendezvous routing would do this. It would do this for users. Like you could do it in a couple sentences and then maybe link off to a technical thing if they really want to do that. But I still think it's important to bring awareness to it.
Okay, cool. And then, yeah, anything else on the daily spending wallet? There's one more thing, which is the sign in with Bitcoin page, which is just a different topic now. But how milestone 16? Wonder if we'll ever get over 16. I'll be here
This week, definitely.
2 weeks. 2 more weeks.
There.
Yeah, no, it's looking good. So if, let's say, requesting, backup and recovery, and privacy, if those can be wrapped up, then there's just funding left, which, Bosch, you said it's fairly small because some of it has been moved out to first use, I think. And then it's just the landing page and the prototype creation. And prototype creation will be basically pull in all of the images, all of the mockups in this section, put them in one Figma file. Actually, not just get the images, but the actual design components. hook them all into a prototype. And while we're doing that activity, we're going to notice 1,000 little inconsistencies. So we'll have to clean those up and then re-export the images and update the guide. But at the same time, I think the daily spending wallet section landing page can happen. And I would be more than happy to do this. Not happy, but the collecting all of the right images, designs, I can do that one, because I'd also like to merge stuff back into the UI kit then. So those things are all consistent. I think that all goes pretty well together.
I'll get cracking on the landing page text.
Yeah.
With the prototype creation, what kind of user flow do you guys have in mind? What kind of use case will you guys be kind of?
So something because this could potentially be one super mega crazy difficult prototype, but it never really perfectly works out, because you can't, like, some screens just have 20 different states, and in a prototype, you just, it's not a real thing. Like, you're still faking it. There are always limits to it. So something that I've done a few times is where a prototype doesn't actually start with the actual app landing screen, but it starts with a menu. So a menu that takes you into different sub flows. So somebody just wants to go straight to, somebody can click through from beginning to onboarding, but somebody also can just say, well, I just want to skip straight through the onboarding and I just want to look at settings. So you have this kind of shortcut system baked in somehow.
We can do that with Figma now. You can make as many entry points as you want from when it start wherever you want, and then it all lists in the menu on the prototype.
So this will just have multiple entry points, and they can flow through the path that they want to flow through.
Yeah, and we'll try to connect them in the best way possible, but it just never works out perfectly, unless you want to do like 5 million mockups with all the different screen states you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon we just have entry points for the pages, so it's easy. So it's like in sync with that, and then the prototype will be interactive with everything. But yeah, the entry points will be just each page. But yeah, I've got all my Figma images from the design guide pretty good, well organized in a Figma file, so I can just copy them into that prototype file, and we can start getting into that. Cool. So,
and you know what the most obnoxious part is going to be? We're going to copy paste a lot of mockups from different files into one Figma file, and all of the components are going to link back to different types of duplications of the original Figma UI kit file. And then we'll have to go in. I actually wrote a plugin that goes through a Figma file that analyzes all component instances in the whole file and analyzes where their main components are located, if they're local or remote, because this is such an obnoxious issue, and there's nothing in the Figma UI to help manage that. So that'll be super obnoxious. I feel it coming. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a real pain when you copy people's files as well. Like I just keep your UI kit open because things change all the time. But when I make a copy, it's like gets out of sync pretty quick.
Yeah. Just be really careful, because with like an update, like the component properties can really change how a component is structured. And if that somehow just kind of trickles into your files, it could mess up your designs. So it's not pretty, some of this.
I usually detach all the components.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's there you go. But then you have no idea if anything changes in the UI kit. So it's just.
And I hate when you have like a design system in Figma. It's like all these different color variables stored, and then you copy and you have it set up so that you can hot swap between the different color variables. Then you copy something to another document, and then suddenly you don't have access to your color library from the previous file anymore. It's like it's a pain to work with.
Yeah, the team stuff's not really that well thought out, I think, in Figma.
Well, we could sign up for an enterprise account, and we would have like branching, all of this stuff. So
I think you have one, don't you, Stephen?
Enterprise.
No, I've just got like a pleb paid account.
Yeah.
But imagine that Bitcoin Design Enterprise Edition.
Oh.
We've hit the big time, everybody. We're enterprise now.
Let's just hit up Steve and be like, get us an enterprise account so we can make this cool prototype.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. So moving forward this week, what do you feel like? Just bust through things.
I was going to
maybe
do that,
daily
and then I was going.
feedback and reviews, and just get things through.
I was going to do that, and then I was just going to do a bit of tidying up of the issues because we've got quite a lot of just little things. I was going to start addressing those. I'm going to open a discussion probably tomorrow about the savings wallet. Just really want to like get the scope defined for that and just start talking about it and how it's going to look and et cetera, et cetera. So going to get that off the ground this week. And I want to do that landing page for the website. So the actual whole landing page for the design guide, not the reference design. I know that issue's been sitting around still, but
you can do what you want. But I would really love to get this milestone done and get this daily spending wallet stuff done.
oh, I was saying that's all happening after this. These get merged. So like,
Yeah.
that was like my later of the week kind of plan. But tomorrow and Wednesday, wrap this up.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'll take a look at my background recovery PR, get that updated. Hopefully, I can get that approved. Then I'll move on to the landing page design for daily spending wallet.
Awesome. Totally different note. How's anything going on with merchants and business models?
Wanted to focus on milestone 16.
Oh yeah, that's the spirit. I'm just trying to tempt you. I'm the snake.
Oh yeah,
Right,
that's
this
coming up
apple.
next.
Awesome.
The business model stuff, I do have plans to progress that a bit more. I'm trying to get some stuff done on the Fedimint wiki that I was writing prior to going to Latvia. So I've been prioritizing that at the moment.
Oh, you're going to Riga?
Yes.
The Baltic honey badger? Sweet, we'll
Yeah.
see you there.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. Yeah, it's going to be quite a lot of people there by the look of it. It's,
Have you been
it's
to that conference before?
No, I've been unable to leave the state for quite a while without the ability to get back in easily. So
Yeah.
I've wanted to go to Riga for years now. So this is me taking a bit of a punt. Looking forward to it.
Me too. I haven't been to any real Bitcoin only conferences ever. So
With regards to the create case study section, which has no milestone, Bosch and I were just talking about this today. Is that I'm just going to go and click on it because I'm on the milestone now. Create case study section to do. Create a case study section for analysis of external projects. We don't have content for this yet, so this task can wait. This is an idea that came out of the brainstorming session. And then Christoph said, okay, cool.
yeah, I mean, we don't need that section if we don't have content. That's basically it. So
Yeah.
when somebody starts creating content for it, and then we can add the section in.
Okay, so that would be, okay, all right. So create content for it, and then it becomes a section.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
good. All right.
Hello, joins.
Is that John's?
Don't know. Maybe under his evil twin maybe joins.
Yeah, me and Mo had a meeting with Colin today, doing the ETA wallet or
Yeah.
I don't know, ETA. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was a thing. So he's building a React Native TypeScript app that's based around the Bitcoin design guide, like visuals. But I did mention to him because I think he made a copy of your Figma file ages ago, Christoph, and I was like, we've changed heaps of stuff since then. Christoph's changed heaps of stuff, and more stuff's going to get changed soon. So you might need to, check those updates.
But that's okay. I think from looking at the GitHub repo, yeah, it's meant to be a quick model app for anyone build looking. So it doesn't have to be like perfectly up to date. And yeah, things gonna keep evolving. That'd be cool. So it's just him working on it, right? Colin? Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's at Koala.
Mhm.
So there might be people. Yeah, sorry, some music just turned on my monitor. Yeah, I'm not sure if people at Koala are also helping him, but yeah, I think it's just him.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, and so since we have a few minutes, maybe we can just take a brief look about the sign-in with Bitcoin. Have you looked at it? Stephen has looked at it.
Yep, I just left you a bunch of little notes.
Yeah, so it's just a very top level intro and basically what stuff like Albi does or enables for website interaction, and what LNURL does. So you can just log in with your wallet through some web service and make payments with it. You don't need an email password or anything else. So it's just very top level intro onto that, because at the first Shock the Web Hackathon, every team came up with their own solution to this. So it seemed like it just makes sense to build that. And maybe long term, like there can be centralized identifiers and slash tags and passkeys and all kinds of other stuff can come in, and permissions to access whatever other information you have, and wallet management, and somebody can build a JavaScript library for it or so. That'd be cool, but this is just kind of a starting point with the basics. So it'd be cool to get feedback on it. Joins the expert being here.
Yeah, I read through it this weekend. I think there was just like one of the last words. I can't remember it right now, but in the last paragraph there was something there that I wanted to suggest a change to. So I'll send it over to them. But overall, it seemed pretty on point. We even used it for the design of the the new account, like multiple identities to one account thing on Bolt Fun as well. So.
Oh, awesome.
It's going to be in production. So.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I felt like I was making a lot of this stuff up here.
I mean, that's what...
I'm glad that's how we do things. We make stuff. Yeah. We make up money and... Yeah. Okay, cool. So review would be awesome. We have 5 minutes left. What would you like to chat about? Questions, thoughts, ideas?
And you guys got to use Nunchuck?
Yes.
I haven't used it yet. It looks cool.
I wanted to, I don't know if I'm wrong in this, as this is completely off topic, but just give me 2 seconds. I'm just making a quick image.
One Mississippi.
I liked it. I thought their coin control was a bit terrible. I remember.
So what do you like about it?
It looks nice. It feels nice. I like the concept of doing the PSBTs over chat. I think that's an easy way to understand and share that information. So I think that's pretty cool. I was using it to select some Bitcoin to give somebody for a wedding, which is why I wanted to make sure I was selecting specific coins where I'd obscured the history. So that's where the coin control was a bit shit, and it was a bit frustrating.
Yeah, the chat thing sounds cool because it's like if you want to actually manage funds like as a business or something like that, or whatever your collaborative scheme is, then like of course you're going to need a way to communicate that with people.
Is it some P2P Lightning chat thing, or
it's just like multi-sig on chain, right?
No, but the chat I'm sure is not multi-sig on chain.
No, it's not Lightning. It's supposed to be an end-to-end encrypted. Like I presume they're probably using something like Signal protocol or something. I just sent you a photo, Christoph, if you can share it quickly. I'm waiting for him to reply to me all day about this. I'm trying to set my MK4 up with it, but I was verifying, like it was doing the test sign message, but the message on the app on my desktop and the message on my MK4 were different. So yeah.
I was just I didn't stop my recovery phrase train of thought. I went into Breeze, and I went into security and backup, and then went into the recovery phrase, and then you see your recovery phrase. So I'm sitting in a cafe. You see your recovery, the 12 words. But there's no option in this screen state to actually hide these words. I would only have to exit the screen.
Yeah, but you only see them because you went through a screen that says you're gonna see those words now. Make sure you're in a.
Yeah.
But of course, when you choose to see the words, you're gonna see the words. It's your right.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the hide option. It's just it's interesting that Breeze doesn't have that.
Sorry. Was it in Breeze now, or?
Yeah, this is Breeze. Yeah.
Oh, you just opened up Breeze on your phone. Okay.
Yeah. So Breeze, and then preferences, and then preferences, and then it's in your security backup, and then that's very interesting because you click encrypt cloud backup, and then it's only showing you. You'll be shown a list of words, write down the words, and store them in a safe place. Okay, so they're telling you that it's important. You click understand, and then you just see all the words. Yeah. I think it would be nice if maybe even if there was a screen state before this saying don't show these words to anyone. Because even that is just a little small thing.
Yeah, I think there are several wallets that could need
improve that. Yeah.
Improve that.
I like this flow that Stephen's done, that he just shared the link to. That's good. I like that you can't even click through. You've got to accept the terms and then click the button.
Yeah, once you click accept, once you click I understand on Breeze, you pretty much click next, and then bam, you have your 12 words in front of you.
Yeah, like what I'm doing for the daily spending wallet right now, this is the PR we were talking about, though. Like, start the backup flow, has to put the channel state on the cloud, blah, blah, blah. Then you get to the part where you have to back up your recovery phase. Lets them know to, get ready to write it down. You hit continue. Then it gives you this kind of like informational warning screen. When you hit continue, we're going to display your recovery phrase. Make sure there's nobody around who's going to see it. Write it down, store it safely. Don't take a screenshot or photo. I understand. Then the continue button becomes active. Tap that. Then it shows you the recovery phase.
Yeah, that's the step that Breeze is missing.
And I feel like that.
Next. That's the step it's missing. Yeah.
Something else to consider with this, I think, is like this is probably more than enough security precautions for a daily spending wallet, which ideally you wouldn't have a lot of money in. Maybe if you're dealing with some big multi-sig type situation, savings wallet, you would go some extra miles. But I think for now, for a daily spending wallet, this is more than enough probably. Stephen's flow, that is what I'm talking about, by the way.
Stephen's flow is perfect.
Hey, Bosch, sorry, I didn't quite get it. You asked me to share this screenshot here. Or this,
oh, yeah. So on the left, it told me it was going to sign that message for me on the picture on the left. But the message on the picture is different from the one that my device told me to sign, which I presume is wrong.
I mean, that could use an extra label here that looks like a disabled button that doesn't have where some scrambled text is getting shown. And here it says, okay, to sign this RYW or something.
Yeah, they're different, yeah. Two different messages, which they should be the same. All right, I could be completely wrong, but yeah, I think they should be the same.
Usually it's the same, I think.
Yeah, because you're just signing it. You're just signing that message, like to prove that you obviously have access to the private keys before it shares the XPub with Nunchuck.
Maybe your system is compromised.
So I messaged him. I was like, something's wrong. But I don't know. I was a bit nervous. I'm not setting it up if that's the case. But I know they might. I don't know if they have MK4 compatibility yet. So maybe that's why.
No, I mean, it's true. Like in this scenario, you should not sign this. the application should give you an option. It's like, what if this doesn't match? What do I do? And then it should give you instructions and should say, well, it could be this technical error that we sometimes have with this device or so. It could say, your system's compromised, run away.
It's pretty bad that it doesn't say that they should match. Like that's the bare minimum it should say. It should say sign these, they should match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I hit up Hugo.
Mock up a fix for them in Figma.
Yeah, I actually did for Nunchuck a while ago, but I think no one even commented on my GitHub issues from like a year ago. So I was like, yeah.
I'm going to stop the recording real quick. It's going to auto stop anyways now. So bye, watchers, viewers. Thank you for tuning in.